Some people like to use the dictionary to explain Jeet Kune Do. Other people live the art of Jeet Kune Do. Guess which one I do? Hello, everyone. This is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Do Rebel. Welcome to a special issue of the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast. This is number 377, and this is the one where we stop flattening JKD history into buzzwords. So as you're logging in, if you'd be kind enough to say where you're logging in from, hit the like button and feel free to continue doing so throughout the broadcast. If you're catching the simulcast over on the YouTube, please be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell as well. But of course, the best thing you can do is to share this video and spread the word about the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast. So today's topic comes from something I saw either yesterday or the day before, and I couldn't let it slide. It was this post that said, Bruce Lee didn't certify anyone to teach, but he did give verbal permission to 3 of his students. So if you keep up, you know exactly where this came from and you know who I'm talking about. And maybe to some people, it sounds like a harmless statement, but for those of you who have been in this thing for decades, people who have lived Jeet Kune Do, people who train Jeet Kune Do, people who research Jeet Kune Do, that phrase, verbal permission, yeah, it's something that deserves a little more scrutiny. So let's get something clear right off the bat. This is not about whether or not I understand what verbal permission means, because I don't need a dictionary. I don't need a dictionary lesson, okay? I don't need somebody quoting a definition like they're enlightening the room, right? The issue is not the word verbal. The issue is what that phrase implies, especially when it gets thrown around without context, which is something that happens way too often with Jeet Kune Do online. So when somebody says that Bruce Lee gave verbal permission, so it sounds like he just gave them like a casual go ahead, right? Yeah, like, sure, you can teach. So my question was, well, how did it happen? Did he tell him this over the phone? Was it during a lunch break? Was it just a passing comment? See, come on, because that's a flattened, like I said before, simplistic way to describe something that is much more meaningful and much more layered. Because this is how it happened. In Seattle, Bruce Lee, when leaving for Oakland, entrusted instruction to Taki Kimura. And this is because Kimura was one of the most dedicated Seattle students that Bruce Lee ever had. So it was a decision that was based on relationship. It was based on trust and responsibility. So naturally, leaving for Oakland, Taki Kimura was put in charge. Similarly, in Oakland, when Bruce Lee was leaving for Los Angeles, again, someone who had proven himself through commitment and understanding, namely James Lee, he's the guy that is left in charge. In Los Angeles now, the responsibility gradually emerged into the hands of Dan Inosanto when the Green Hornet was put on hiatus and there was free time, but it was like, okay, well, why don't we get a group together and, open up a little place and get you some pocket money or something, I guess, right? But at that time in 67, Inosanto was somebody who had been training hard, had been developing his own skill, and had been absorbing what Bruce Lee was doing. And so he was deputized to help carry the load of instruction at the Chinatown School. So none of that is casual permission. It is earned trust. It is deputization. Okay. It is a kind of living certification rather than piece of paper. And it's based on merit. It's based on proximity. And by that, I mean proximity to Bruce Lee and his methodology. And it's based also on the individual development of those three people. So when we reduce all of that to like a neat little phrase about verbal permission, then you miss the entire texture of the story. When people throw around a phrase like verbal permission, they're not wrong by dictionary standards, but they're wrong in JKD spirit. They're wrong in JKD tone, and they're wrong in JKD historical weight. Because a phrase like that flattens a complex human exchange into like a soundbite, like a pop, what do you call it? Pop culture soundbite. So it makes it sound like Bruce Lee was handing out licenses at lunch, and it strips away the depth of what actually passed down. It doesn't address things like mentorship. It doesn't address things like the technical trust, right? It doesn't even address the evolving responsibility. That stuff, none of that stuff happened casually. It happened through time, over time, and it happened through investment. And that is what is being erased when people get lazy with the language. So, of course, there's going to be some of you who are thinking, well, Dwight, why are you making such a big deal out of one phrase? Well, that's because that's how misinformation creeps in. And that's how it sticks. This is how myth is born. So when we start repeating easy phrases, right, instead of examining what actually happened, we build a version of JKD that is based on what I call surface level, and it's based on like memes, right? It's not based on depth, and it's not based on accuracy. And for me, this is the thing. The Jeet Kune Do legacy is too important to be reduced into like casual phrasing. So have your way, right? If you're serious about Jeet Kune Do, in my opinion, if you claim to represent this art in any way, then you owe it the respect of understanding how and why it was passed down the way that it was. So yeah, so verbal permission, technically, yeah, sure, you could call it that. But that phrase pales in comparison to the depth of what was really going on. So, in my opinion, we should honor that, and we should tell the story the right way. Okay, so that is it for today. If this resonated with you, even if you disagree with me, because that's fine, let me know in the comments below, because that's all I'm going to say in this video. If you like what you heard, comment, rate, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Follow me on Twitter at Dwight Woods and on Instagram at Dwight D. Woods. At paypal.me/unifiedma Miami, paypal.me/unifiedma Miami. The Jeet Kune Do Journey Volume 1 is available. That's paypal.me/unifiedma Miami. If you have not yet gone over to JKD Drills on Facebook, please do so, like and follow it over there. Also, do the same thing for the Jeet Kune Do Dialogues and for the Jeet Kune Do Broadcast. They both have their own dedicated pages on Facebook, and the goal is to move away from broadcasting on my personal page, okay? Because I want that personal page to go back to being like Dwight Woods, the non-JKD guy. Right? So the Jeet Kune Do Dialogues and this show, the I Love Jeet Kune Do Broadcast, they have their own dedicated pages. There's just a glitch right now where I can't get Be Live to stream to those pages, but their developers have said they're going to work on it for me, and as soon as we get that fixed, then that'll be where you guys can go to enjoy these programs. Right. One last thing, if you would please go over to, let me change that, to this GoFundMe URL. This is where the breast cancer fund for my the wife of my student Wayne Quinton down in Barbados, his wife Petal. This helps in their fight against her breast cancer. So if you make a contribution there, I would definitely appreciate that. Um, so this was a special Monday issue. So I'll see you on at 6 p.m. on Wednesday with our regularly scheduled I Love Jeet Kune broadcast. Today is Purple Day. There you go. Right. Okay. So that's it. You guys let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll be more than happy to engage with you. Okay. All right. This is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Rebel, signing off. Enjoy the rest of your evening. You guys take care. Talk soon.